Good afternoon, and thanks for having me. First and foremost, I want to send my condolences to Luz and Emily Elias, the passing of our friend and champion, Richard Elias. Richard was a great supporter of the Democratic Party, a regular here at DGT, and a good friend to many of us, including myself. I just want to make sure that we say his name and resist much love. Thank you, Richard, for all of your service. My name is Adelita Grijalva, and I'm a lifelong Tucsonan and lifelong member of the District 5 community. I have been a board member for the last 18 years on the Tucson Unified School District, and I have been the director of Pima County Teen Court, a diversion program that works with young people here in our community who have had a little run-in with the law for the last 25 years. It is because of the passing of our friend Richard Elias that I am here, asking for your support as I run for the position of in the Board of Supervisors for Supervisor District 5. We decided 6 days before petitions were due that we needed to get on the ballot to support the initiatives that Richard held true: environmental causes, causes for our organized labor, taking care of Pima County. He was our advocate on that board, and I want to make sure that we have a voice there. My father, Congressman Raul Grijalva, held the seat, left that seat to run for Congress, and then Richard took over and took the Sonoran Desert Conservation Plan and ran with it. And it is because of that work that we have beautiful areas in our community like Las Cienegas, Canoa Ranch. That Sonoran Conservation Plan is the cornerstone of Pima County, and why Pima County is the place where we all call home. I am a mom of 3. My daughter Adelita is going into 8th grade. My son Raul is going into 6th grade, and my son Joaquin will be starting 4th grade next year. And it is because of my role as a mom that I want to make sure that we protect this community. So let's talk about the elephant in the room: recovery from SARS-CoV-19. The Pima County Health Department is the leading health agency in southern Arizona. We've been told that the reopening and recovery into what our new normal will be a data-driven process. But recovery without equity is not recovery. So here's a 5-point checklist that I'd like us to talk about. So the Pima County Board of Supervisors has discussed this issue quite a lot. Are we ready? Is the timing right? And do we have the right precautions? So that would be question number 1. Have we seen a decrease for the last 14 days in new cases of COVID? We have not. Is our health system ready? Are we ready? And while we do have a little bit of capacity in some of our hospitals, we don't nearly have enough to contain a flare-up. Do our hospitals have enough PPE on hand? Do we have enough support to isolate and quarantine those that can't live alone? That's the issue that we're having with a lot of our facilities that have a lot of our elderly community. Do we have contact tracing and strategies? We don't. And do we have mass testing implemented? This was an issue that I actually wrote an op-ed about, because while we had some blitz testing that started happening, it was all located outside of the zip codes hardest hit by COVID outbreak, including District 5. Are our communities prepared to prevent a new flare-up? Well, based on just a cursory look around town, there is not enough social distancing. People are not wearing masks because they are optional. The largest crowd that I saw was standing outside of a Ross with everyone all together and not practicing any kind of social distancing or precautions. Are we ready to establish and enforce requirements? We are not. And so while we have had some guidelines that I think are really easy to implement into our restaurants, the rest of the communities are kind of left up to ensuring that for themselves. And I think that is going to be one of the issues that is going to cause the flare-up here in Pima County and in Arizona. Are there clear guidelines to help government determine when to reinstate stay-at-home precautions? I don't believe that we've had a healthy discussion about that either. And so I'm a mom, and I'm concerned that we won't be opening schools. Our school buildings will not be able to reopen if we have another outbreak. And so that's one of the issues that I think is really important to so many of us, and we want to make sure that our community is safe and healthy. We have a lot of recovery to do. Lots of things that we're going to need to work on to make sure that people feel safe enough to go out of their homes, to go back to work, and to get back to whatever this new normal is going to be after a pandemic. Pima County is an integral part of ensuring that safety. The Pima County Health Department right now is our beacon. It should be the department that is informing all of these decisions that need to be fact and science-based about our reopening. And I am very concerned, as I know many of you are, about what this is going to look like for our state, our nation, and our hometown here. Pima County is going to have a significant shortfall because of the repercussions to our economy because of the pandemic. And so what are we going to do to rebuild and ensure that Pima County is thriving again? We need to make sure that Pima County has access to the federal supports that have been issued to the state. Currently, our governor has released 25% of the funds that were channeled through our federal government. He's holding on to the rest of it for a rainy day. We need that funding now. What we need to do is work collaboratively with the city of Tucson and all of our other municipalities, get a strategic plan together, and figure out a way for us to rebuild. Our state revenue tax is going to have a significant decrease. Those funds need to support our neighborhoods, our small business communities, individuals that need the funding now. Holding on to it is not acceptable. It's not an option. And we need vocal opponents and stakeholder groups that are going to come together from all of our organizations. We need organized labor. We need our neighborhood associations. We need the city of Tucson, Oro Valley, South Tucson, and our entire community to organize, work together, and ensure that we have vocal support to move forward. We need to work on a Pima County budget that works for all of us, that doesn't leave anyone behind. We have to make sure that all of our communities are represented, from the school crossing guard at my son's school to the small business owner that is struggling. The Pima County Health Department has an integral role in so many services that protect our underserved. They oversee programs like home health delivery, mental health, oversight of nursing facilities, as well as providing well-coordinated public and private health crisis response. Pima County is home to so many beautiful areas that are protected by the Sonoran Desert Conservation Plan. One of its greatest advocates was Richard Elias. What we need to do is remember that we have to find that balance between growth and preservation. And it is one of the greatest reasons why people come to Pima County, why Tucson is still my home. It's because we can walk out, drive out of the middle of downtown, which looks very metropolitan, and 10 minutes later be at Star Pass in one of the most beautiful areas that exists. And so our tourism and much of our economic stimulus is tied to people coming to look at what we have, and we have to protect it. We also have to invest in our neighborhoods. As we continue to rebuild and come out from this pandemic, it's important for us to balance growth with our natural resources. We're in the desert. We have to protect our water supply for generations to come. We've been talking about Pima County's wonderful resources, but its greatest resource is its people. I've had the opportunity to work with people that are striving to make our community better as long as I can remember. people that I've learned from, that have advised me, that have given me opportunities, and that have pushed me to do better. These are the things that we have to do in order to make our voice heard and our environment better. Democrats are about the people and working for the people. And I know that politician has an ugly word, but what it is public service. Service does not mean you have to have an elected office. Service are the people like my Nino, Frank de la Cruz, who helped so many candidates every day, like Alice Papson, who tried to make sure that her voice was heard in a way that made you understand her perspective and made you a believer. All of us have had those interactions during marches, while we're picketing, while we're going door to door supporting our favorite candidates who we know will be wonderful advocates for us and a voice. And that's what I'd like to be for you. I'd like to continue the opportunities that I've been so graciously given as a member of the TUSD governing board. I've been able to work with thousands of young people, shake thousands of hands when I'm handing out high school diplomas. And the work that I do with the Pima County Teen Court, I've had the opportunity to mentor so many young people who are off doing wonderful things all over the nation and then coming back home to Pima County. I want to thank you all for the opportunity that you've afforded me. I promise I will continue to work as hard as I can to be your voice and your advocate. There's no way I could ever fill the shoes of Richard Elias, but I will not let you down. I will work as hard as I can to make sure that I am the strongest advocate for the goals and values that we all hold dear.